All right, folks, thanks so much for tuning in here at the David McMullen Gymnasium, the home of the Lakers. We got a triple header of volleyball action for you tonight. This is game one of that triple header. We have the Harvey Lakers taking on the Sir James Dunn Academy Algonquins. After that, it will be the Algonquins versus the Samuel de Champlain Jaguars, and then finally, the hometown Lakers will take on the Jaguars as well. These three teams are the entirety of the Single A South Division this year at volleyball, so they've seen a lot of each other. Lakers have matched up decently with the Algonquins the past couple times. They've got a couple wins against this team under the belt, 2 wins and 3 losses, so looking to kind of draw even with them and make things interesting in the standings. Algonquins, of course, looking to win and secure second place. Samuel de Champlain currently undefeated in Single A, so they look pretty good in terms of their quest to wrap up the 1 seed. And both teams take the court as our referee, Mark, takes his spot up in the high chair to check the rotation. Looks like for the Lakers, it will be number 21, Nolan Bongarrier, number 8, Joe Gregory, number 9, Charlie Gregory, number 10, Marcus Herrero, number 20, Michael Breed, and number 24, Michael McKean, with the libero, Kurt Cometa, in the white jersey getting ready to sub in. Algonquins don't look like they have libero. Everyone's in those red and white jerseys. It'll be number 6, Emilio Rodriguez, number 10, Gentry Taylor, number 4, Will Chamberlain, number 11, Ross Chamberlain, number 2, Max Aubin, and number 15, I believe, Elijah House to start the game. It's Charlie Gregory, first serve of the night, and that goes awry as teams both getting back into the swing of things. So the Algonquins are on the board first. And here's number 10, Gentry Taylor. Taylor with a good serve. That's fielded well by Gregory. Michael McKean looks to send it cross court. Aubin has it. Aubin with the hit. A nice block by Bongarrier and a good dig by Aubin, keeping it alive. It's the hit from Bongarrier. That's fielded high by Sir James Dunn Academy, and that ball well out of bounds. So Lakers get on the board. They earn that one. Good rally here in the early going. And Nolan Bongarrier will step back. One of 2 grade 12s dressed tonight. Both him and number 8 Joe Gregory are in grade 12. The third grade 12 player, Ashton Little, who wears number 7, is not available for tonight's game. So Lakers a relatively young squad. Here's Bongarrier with the set. McKean's going to punch that over, but falls out of bounds. So the Algonquins building themselves a nice early lead here. It's a service from Ross Chamberlain. Gets caught in the net. Here's Michael Breed now. Breed sending it over. Fielded by Ross Chamberlain. Number 15, Elijah House sends it. Good dig from Michael Breed, coming up with speed. And Will Chamberlain sends it right to Nolan Bongarrier on the other side. Hit from Joe Gregory, but nice lateral movement from Gentry Taylor. Here's Bongarrier with the set. Herrero and Michael McKean, big hit, but has that one a little high, so that will be the Algonquins recording the point. 4-2 now. Here's Aubin. And Lakers make the right call. That was a tough one. Not sure if that was libero Kurt Cometa, who's checked in for Michael Breed, or one of the other back row guys, but either way, they'll take it. Here's Michael McKean. Could tie things up. Nice service from McKean. That's fielded high into the stands, and Algonquins are scrambling. Nice work by number 24, grade 10 player, Michael McKean. Here he comes again. Again, that's high from Taylor. Charlie Gregory right at the net front there with the kill. Great work by number 9 as he dusts off his hands. It's a very basketball move. And rough luck as the Algonquins thought that was going out. This one falls on the Lakers side. So Lakers now the ones with an early lead, 6-4. McKean with the ace. That's his second in a row, as he's kind of changing up where he's positioning that ball, not just going straight back. This one is an easier one to call. So McKean powers that all the way to the back wall. Here's Elijah House now. House sends it over. Joe Gregory to Nolan Bongarrier. Herrero sending it cross court. That's kept alive by Obang. Taylor. Nice hit from number 10. And he'll record the kill. I think he was kind of in a setter's position earlier in the game, but shown he's got some versatility. And now Elijah House is going to try to tie things up for the team from St. Andrews. Cometa to Joe Gregory, and Nolan Bongarrier will send it to the back row. Elijah House has it. Chamberlain trying to sneak it over on the second hit. There's Joe Gregory. It's not exactly a conventional way to send it over. Kind of arching back, punching it one-handed, but kind of catches the back row of the defense unawares. Nice placement from the savvy veteran. And again, Chamberlain trying to sneak it over. Lakers are ready for that one. It's a nice block from Joe Gregory. And the Algonquins can't corral it. Here's Herrero. Taylor brings it back in. Third hit has to go over, but that is too high. Emilio Rodriguez. I think the Algonquins kind of got caught unaware. They needed that big 3 call to remind the players they had to send it over. Herrero's serve will shank wide right. And here's Will Chamberlain taking the court. Couple of Chamberlains on the court. Got to imagine they're brothers, Will and Ross. Oh, it could be cousins, I guess. So Will Chamberlain's serve also wide right. So the teams exchange misfires. And now it's Joe Gregory back to serve, the other grade 12 player on the court and available tonight for the Lakers. Taylor, but Charlie Gregory has that. And he's going to send that over. Nice work at the net front for Charlie Gregory. Here's his brother Joe. Taylor to Obang. Taylor back to send it. Joe Gregory is there. Herrero, second hit. And Michael McKean, sidearm, keeping it alive, but Gentry Taylor will not be denied. Couple of kill attempts in a row, as that was really well done from number 10 in the red and white jerseys. Unfortunately, we're a little short-staffed up here in the skybox tonight, as you've probably clued in, only hearing one voice. We are not able to provide the instant replay. That would have been a great one for it, but unfortunately, it is what it is. Here's Nolan Bongarrier. Rodriguez. And we have a whistle. Looks like a double hit, and indeed we see the 2 fingers from referee Mark. So Elijah House committing the foul, and it will be Charlie Gregory going back to serve. Good service from Gregory. Back to the start of the service order. Taylor looks for the big kill, but Joe Gregory is there. Michael McKean sending it back, and that's directed down. Nice work by McKean, who will record the point there. Back to Charlie Gregory. He's rewarding Coach Isaiah Caldwell's faith in him as the number 1 server as he puts an ace on the board. Lakers with 3 of those now as they start to pull away from the Algonquins here. And, we may have a substitution coming as Tyson Washington, not sure if he's just conferring with his coaches on the bench or getting ready to sub in. Here's Chamberlain. Hit from number 11, Ross Chamberlain, and Obang catches the top of the net, guilty of the double hit. And now with the Lakers doubled up, we have a timeout called by coaches Claire Neufeld and Charlotte Bartlett of the Algonquins. Lakers, you can hear the big energy coming off the court. As we mentioned, this is a team they've gone back and forth with. They've had both victories and defeats against these Algonquins. Although this is the last regular season matchup between these two teams, you can tell the Lakers really want the win here to start off the triple header on a high note. Take a moment to shout out our minor officials. Big thanks down there at the Don Fletcher minor officiating table to the two folks working tonight. It's always great to have those volunteers chipping in. Hudson Mason looks like he's doing double duty, both the in-house scoreboard, the basketball scoreboard that is visible from the stands, and that small kind of flipboard scoreboard you can see at the top of the table. Both of them are active, and I think it's Hudson who's working both of them. Violet McDonald is also down there. She's a regular down in that position, chipping in and helping out with all kinds of sports games, including volleyball. She is working things on the scoring iPad. And here come the Lakers as Coach Isaiah Caldwell, he's the assistant coach, but with head coach Michelle Poirier unavailable tonight, Caldwell manning the bench solo. He's a first-year coach, actually, a very recent graduate. So nice to see. Always love to see those recent grads given back to the sport. Caldwell played as an excellent libero in his volleyball career here at Harvey High, and you can tell he's had a great influence on both Kurt Cometa as a libero, but also just the team as a whole. Couple of substitutions for the Algonquins. Number 1, Josh Sim, and number 6, Tyson Washington are checking into the game. So maybe bringing in some reinforcements. Here's Taylor. Joe Gregory has that. Herrero sends it over on the second hit. And Obey trying to keep it alive. Sim couldn't get there in time as Tyson Washington got a quick hand on it off the net front, but didn't go anywhere. So Lakers in the driver's seat now, as they only need 8 points to win. Algonquins are going to need 16. And Marcos with the foot, and Michael McKean almost sending it over one-handed on the scramble. Possibly a bit of a miscommunication there with the Lakers as Herrero and McKean double-checking some positioning here. And here's the service. Herrero has it. Gregory in the back row. And Marcos Herrero sends that. Here's Will Chamberlain with the set. Obey going up for the hit. And Charlie Gregory with the good rush up. Michael Breed's going to sneak that over. Here's Chamberlain, and Washington didn't really get a good angle on the hit, so Alexa just sent it up. McKean! Smart play from Michael McKean. He's had some big, powerful hits, both from the service line and the net front so far this game, so he knows the Algonquins are going to respect him when he comes to the net. However, once he had those defenders committing to the jump, able to just gently punch it over and have it land on the court behind those Algonquin defenders. Third hit from Chamberlain goes over. Will Chamberlain, that is. Here's Bongarrier. McKean again with the big hit, and Sim plays that. May not have been the wisest choices. That could have been going out. Not quite sure. You do see Gentry Taylor over there talking with him, so maybe giving him some advice on trying to read those balls. Here's Sim playing it well to a teammate, and bit of confusion there as that ball right between Obey and Ross Chamberlain. And we see Charlotte Bartlett giving them a bit of advice to avoid that situation happening again. Here's McKean. And that's his third ace, and the second where the Algonquins call it out in the air and ultimately have it land on their side, or within the red lines. Here's McKean again. This one's short, and it catches the net in front of Joe Gregory. So the Algonquins get it as Kurt Cometa checks into the back row. Here's Obey. Good serve. Charlie Gregory has that, though. Net front play. A little too aggressive. There's a net touch there. So Lakers will record the point. And now it's Michael McKean in the back, although... Oh, yeah, I guess on that rally, might have been a mistake with the order there, or I might be mistaken. Here's Sim winding up for a hit, but has a tough angle on it. And Lakers in a real nice spot now. Penultimate point. And looking to take this first set definitively. McKean sends it a little too far. And this will be number 5, Tyson Washington, back to serve. His first service of the game as he checked in after the timeout. Cometa with the pass, and Bongarrier got a hand on it. Wasn't enough to save it from the scorer's table. So here's Washington again. Jump serve from number 5, McKean, adjusting last minute, but still gets it over to his teammate. Herrero sends that. Charlie Gregory. Joe Gregory, second touch is a hit. And Herrero winding up eating what he's being served, but unfortunately hits that a little too hard. And here's Chamberlain again. Check that, Washington. Herrero sends it up over the defense. Sim again winding up for the hit, and this time it'll stick. Gets it past the defenders. Back row can't quite handle it. So Nolan Bongarrier found himself back there covering the block, and he's more of a second hitter. Here he is with that set, and Herrero pushes it off the defender. Great kill from the grade 10 student coming at us out of Spain, Marcos Herrero. Noted soccer players, you saw him getting his feet involved. And here he is already mastering a jump serve, and nicely done. Great way to end it. Marcos Herrero with the kill. So Harvey takes the first set by a score of 25-15. And in these triple headers, you only play 2 sets, and then the third only if necessary. So Lakers with a fairly dominant win there, although to be fair, St. Andrews did not send their full strength out for the very first set. They've got to play 2 in a row. So coaches Neufeld and Bartlett kind of playing around a bit with their player management. And not sure. As players just grab a few things. And we get ready for the second set. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back in a moment. The Harvey High School Stream Team would like to thank our corporate sponsors, Scott Pierce at RE/MAX East Coast Elite Realty and the Little Village Vacation Resort for Dogs. Our sponsors help us to improve the viewing experience and get more students involved in the streams. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor, please check the video description for our contact information. Should give a shout out to the guys working up here in the skybox as well. I mentioned we are short-staffed tonight, so these guys have a bit of a long night ahead of them, but we appreciate them coming out and volunteering their time. Big thanks to Logan Wall, who will be working the camera for this game, and Austin Jameson, who's doing double duty, both keeping an ear on the audio, on console, and also working on the scoreboard. Didn't get the referee's last name. His first name is Mark. We appreciate him coming out as well. I know it's we're facing a bit of a referee shortage in a lot of sports here in New Brunswick and indeed across the country. It is a tough job, but we appreciate everyone who again gives up their time to make sure that these young athletes are able to get as many games in as possible, learn the sport in a respectful way, and we appreciate Mark and all the referees that come through the building. As we mentioned, tonight is the first game of a triple header. These two teams will play at least one more set, possibly a third to 15 if SJDA wins this second one. However, after that, the Samuel de Champlain Jaguars will start warming up, and at 7 o'clock, they are scheduled to take on the Algonquins in a neutral site game. And then at 8 p.m., the hometown Lakers will take on those same Samuel de Champlain Jaguars. This is the final matchup for the Single A South Division in volleyball this year. I believe the standings are fairly solid at this point. Samuel de Champlain definitely secured the first place spot. Currently, Sir James Dunn Academy is second and Harvey is third. I'm not sure if one win tonight would be enough, as boys take the court again for the Lakers. Only one change in personnel. Michael McKean is off, and Tony Kramer, who has been out of the lineup for a while with an injury, has checked into the game, and you love to see that, his ability to take the court. He has not yet played at home, as he got injured at some away games. Here's Gentry Taylor starting things off, and he catches Charlie Gregory unaware. So that's a great start if you are a fan of the team from St. Andrews. And let's see him try to repeat that magic. Nolan Bongarrier sends it directly over. And Washington with the hit. Here's Bongarrier. Tony Kramer, good hit, but Will Chamberlain's there. Obang sneaks it over. Joe Gregory set from Marcos Herrero, and Kramer has to scramble out of position to set that up, and hit from Obang goes well out of bounds. And you can tell Tony pretty psyched to be back on the court. We're glad he's able to join in as well. Lakers definitely missed him, as he's another exchange student in grade 11 out of Germany, but he does have some club volleyball experience. So one of those guys who knows what he's doing. And at the front of the net, Bongarrier and Kramer try to keep it alive. Unfortunately, catches the top of the net, so the Algonquins take the point and get the serve back. Here's Bryson Fennedy, who's checked into the game. Kramer with the first hit, Bongarrier, and back to Herrero, who sends it over. Taylor to Will Chamberlain. Washington going in for a big hit. Charlie Gregory gets a hand on it, but it's not enough. Can't quite direct it up. Can only really bounce it a bit, so his brother Joe can't get to it in time. Algonquins take another point. Kramer, and that kind of shanks under the net. So still shaking off a bit of rust is Tony Kramer. And this serve into the top of the net. So Bryson Fennedy will surrender the point. All right, here's Kirk Cometa with the first hit, but unfortunately that goes out. Kramer can't get to it in time, so this time it's the Algonquins with the big lead early on. Herrero sending it over, trying to get back into this. The front of the net, that's a bit of a battle between Kramer and Chamberlain, but ultimately it's the Algonquins coming out on top, as Max Obang goes for another serve. Cometa sends it in the front of the net, and Bongarrier and Kramer almost keep it alive, but it catches the top of the net. They're guilty of the double hit as well. Here's Obang. Joe Gregory to Herrero, sneaks it over. One-handed kept alive by Bryson Fennedy. And Joe Gregory with the big block. He had one of those in the first set. Nice to record another, as Tony Kramer will head back to serve. His first service in at least a couple weeks. First game service, I should say. I'm sure he's been practicing. Third touch from Obang. Sends it over. Here's Bongarrier, and front of the net, Charlie Gregory with the good heads-up play, keeping that alive. Here's Charlie Gregory sending it now. Fennedy to Will Chamberlain. Washington tries to punch it over the defense. Good lateral movement from Bongarrier, and one-handed. Nice play from number 4, Will Chamberlain. He's going to keep that alive and set up his teammate Josh Sim for the kill. Oh, no. Check that. Must have been a call. I didn't see what it was. Maybe a net touch as Sim came close. That's too bad, as it was a really nice play from Chamberlain. Here's Cometa one-handed. Kramer and Nolan Bongarrier will send it over. Washington puts it up over the defense. Herrero, again, that seems to be, boys doing that a lot. Kind of this punch over. I haven't seen too many of those, but it seems to be working. It's Charlie Gregory recording another kill from the front of the net. And Lakers starting to claw their way back into this. Here's Herrero now. He's a three-sport athlete this year after, I think, playing primarily soccer in his home country of Spain. So really fully embracing the athletic side of the Canadian high school experience. Referee Mark's just double-checking the rotation, but we're all good now. Here's Gregory. Set by Herrero. Big hit cross-court from Nolan Bongarrier. Nice work by primarily the setter. As Algonquins just double-checking their spots in the rotation. Not sure if there was a call earlier that they want some clarification on, or they're just double-checking, and looks like we may need to replay the point. Yeah, and indeed they are going to replay that point. So Lakers are going to go back to down 5-9. Tough break. Must have been out of the rotation order. So good catch by Gentry Taylor and some of the other Algonquins, as Nolan Bongarrier's hit did not actually catch the top of the, any opponent's hands, just the net. So a bit of a reversal in fortunes for the Lakers. Kind of a McSorley stick situation there. It's back set from Taylor. Cross-court hit. And that goes out of bounds. Lakers happy to get that back as Kurt Cometa checks off and Michael Breed's back into the front row. Here's Joe Gregory now. Fiery competitor. He wants that point back. Taylor to Will Chamberlain. Sends it high. Charlie Gregory, good adjustment after going up for the block. Joe Gregory will send it over. Good recovery from the Lakers. Looking for the setter sneak over is Will Chamberlain. As Washington sends it over, and Charlie Gregory mistiming his counterattack there. Goes up a little too soon and can't quite hit the ball the way he wanted. Can only direct it to a teammate, and they weren't ready for it. There's Will Chamberlain with the serve. Michael Breed sends it out of bounds. So Algonquins have doubled things up. Will Chamberlain switching up his service position. It's Tony Kramer, direct response. Chamberlain hustling up from the back line to make it there. And Fenedy finding a hole in the defense. Lakers starting to let this get away from them after a big win. A lot of positive emotion came out of it, but starting to let this slip away now. Here's Joe Gregory. And that one's out of bounds. It'll be Chamberlain back to serve. Solid service. Tony Kramer has that, and Herrera will send it over. Second hit. And there's a nice kill from Gentry Taylor. Had a couple in the first, as Coach Isaiah Caldwell will use his timeout here and try to calm the boys down. Obviously, he knows they're capable of hanging with this Algonquin squad, but momentum has swung firmly in the favor of the visitors. So Isaiah Caldwell will try to kind of keep the boys centered as they get a bit of a chance to talk. You see Charlie Gregory kind of giving the boys some advice as well. And we'll see what adjustments they're able to make. On the Algonquin side, coaches Neufeld and Bartlett giving some advice, but mostly the boys in red just using it as a chance to refuel and double check a few things. A lot of solid energy, and that's got to feel good after going down and losing that first set by so much to be able to battle your way back into this thing. And we'll get the whistle now to call them back. And same groups of 6 to come out, although we will have a swap here as number 24, Michael McKean, will check in, and number 2, Tony Kramer, will grab a breather. Kramer, as we mentioned, coming off a long injury, so we're going to watch his use in this triple header tonight. And there's a real nice block at the front of the net from number 10, Gentry Taylor. He's had a few kills, also had a few shots blocked, so been on the receiving end of some of those. Must be happy to be the blocker this time. Here's Charlie Gregory sending it. Chamberlain, and Gregory has that on the hit again. Here's Charlie Gregory with a hit of his own, and there's a nice kill for the grade 11 student. He's rewarded with the chance to serve now, and Lakers trail by 9. They could certainly use a nice run. Had a couple in the first set. Let's see if he can start closing this distance. Fennedy sending it high and over, and the brothers Gregory backpedaling to make that call, but they do the right one as that falls out of bounds. Can be tough to judge sometimes, those high arcing balls, as Charlie Gregory's serve goes out of bounds. So here's Josh Sim now. Sim with the dribble and jump serve, but it catches the top of the net. And Nolan Bongarrier will get a chance. Michael McKean has only just checked in, but if the Lakers can get him at the service line, might be a nice thing, as Algonquins call the out. Washington plays it anyways. Might have been the right call, and McKean misfiring on the hit. He tried to sneak it over again, but had the angle wrong. That'll catch the top of the net. So it's Gentry Taylor now. Back to serve. Had an ace earlier in this set. Charlie Gregory says, not on my watch. And here's Herrero volleying it into the back. Taylor to Chamberlain. Washington winds up, but elects to just gently send it, and Herrero sends a bit of a skyscraper that just avoids any of the scaffolding. And there at the front of the net, that's Tyson Washington. Tallest player on both sides of the court, using his height to his advantage there, as he's able to send that down, directly down onto the Lakers side, undeterred. It's Taylor again. Joe Gregory to Charlie. Michael McKean, or sorry, check that. Michael Breed will send that over. Washington with the response. Bongarrier. Here's Herrero. And Josh Sim running up to make that play. Oh, bang. Will hit short side. And he's pretty energized there, as the Algonquins have hit the 20-point mark. And looks like we are most definitely headed for a third set, as Taylor's service well out of bounds. Here's Michael Breed now, is getting some encouragement from the sidelines. Sends that over to Taylor. Chamberlain. Washington on the third hit, but Charlie Gregory is there. Here's Bongarrier with the set, but it falls onto the Algonquin side. You can see Washington rather with the dance of celebration. I had a tough set, keeps getting tougher for the Lakers. Kurt Kometa will check into the back row to provide some defensive support. Big jump serve from Fennedy. Put a bit too much mustard on that. That goes out of bounds. And now here's Michael McKean. That's into the top of the net. Lakers really in dire straits now, so there's very little margin for error. Oh, bang. To Joe Gregory. Nolan Bongarrier has the set, and Herrero will send it back row. Taylor to Chamberlain. Sim winding up. Catches his face on the net, and that's one of the easiest net touch calls I can think of in recent memory. So Lakers take advantage of the fault, and they will send Marcos Herrero to the service line. Chamberlain tries to sneak it over. He's tried that a few times. I don't know if he's actually succeeded on any of them. Although it is still good to keep the defense guessing as Nolan Bongarrier records a big block, his second of the night. And it will be Marcos Herrero's service again. That is short. So 23-13. Lakers pretty much in no mistake zone here. They've got to play error-free volleyball to even have a chance of coming back in this set. And that's not going to cut it. There's a double hit from Herrero, and now it is set point. 13-24. Here's Tyson Washington looking to close this out. Cometa up front to Herrero. Bongarrier will send it over, but the Algonquins are ready. Taylor with the big kill, and that's a great way to end it, earning that point, and your final score of the second set is 13-25 in favor of the Algonquins after a couple of lopsided matchups. We are going directly into a third set now, as some confusion as to what's going on. I think coaches are going to switch after the 7-point mark, or maybe they'll switch now. I don't know. Looks like coaches Neufeld and Bartlett are pretty comfortable on their side, so Coach Caldwell for the Lakers will just keep his boys over there as he gets ready to fill out the lineup card in this decisive third set. Some good play from both teams, and as we get ready for this third and final set, we'll take a moment to shout out our sponsors. Big thanks to Scott Pierce at RE/MAX East Coast Elite Realty and the Little Village Vacation Resort for Dogs. Our sponsors help us to improve the viewing experience and get more students involved in these streams. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor, please check the video description for our contact information. Big shout out as well to the folks down at the Don Fletcher minor officiating table. We've got Hudson Mason pulling double duty, both working the scoreboard mounted on the wall and the flip scoreboard sitting on top of the table. So he's doing a great job keeping both of those correct and up to date. Big thanks as well to Violet McDonald sitting next to him and working the scorer's iPad. That iPad, I'm fairly certain it's a direct link to ISET Sports. They're the organization that the NBIAA is using to keep track of volleyball stats. And I gotta say, it's been a super useful tool this year. It allows us up here to kind of get roster data and some basic stats on the teams, like sets won and lost, points for, points against. But still some pretty useful stuff when we're doing our commentary. And to double check standings. It's nice to have those updated so regularly, and that scorer's iPad really helps. To start this third and final set for the Algonquins and the Lakers, St. Andrews is going to send out number 2, Max Aubin, number 7, Bryson Fennedy, number 10, Gentry Taylor, number 1, Josh Sim, number 4, Will Chamberlain, and number 5, Tyson Washington. Caldwell has not yet submitted the lineup. Looks like he's making some last-minute adjustments. Just needs a solid surface as he bends down to complete that. And now he will hand it over to referee Mark. Let's see who he sends out on the court. I imagine it'll be the same 6 plus Kurt Cometa that we saw to start the first set, but we'll see. As Joe Gregory gets ready to lead the chant and send the Lakers back. Here they come, and getting a bit of applause from the stands. And no, I misspoke. There are some changes in personnel here, as a couple of starters, Charlie Gregory and Michael Breed, taking a breather. And number 6, Lex Smith, and number 22, Jordan Hill, have checked into the game. Couple of grade 10 players. So Coach Caldwell reaching for some fresh legs, as they are joined on the court by Nolan Bongarrier, Joe Gregory, a couple of grade 12 veterans, and a couple other grade 10s. Number 24, Michael McKean, and number 10, Marco Serrero. Here's Hill. First service. It's looking good, but catches the top of the net. And he'll actually swap out now for Charlie Gregory. So Caldwell being pretty active with his bench management. Here's Taylor now. Solid service. Gregory is there. Herrera with the set, and Michael McKean with the big hit, but it goes out of bounds. That one's fairly close, but it does go out as McKean went cross-court using that Pythagorean theorem to the best of his advantage, but still won't be enough. As Lex Smith keeps that alive in the back row. Here's Joe Gregory, gets it past the defense. Oh, bang. Scrambling, can't quite get to it, so there's a nice kill for Joe Gregory, gets the Lakers on the board. We remind you, this is a 15-point set, so every point matters. Things will go quite quickly here. Bongarier, and that will sneak under the net. So Lakers having trouble getting their service game going. Let's see what Bryson Fenedy has for him. Fenedy, jump serve. Charlie Gregory responding, and that is out of bounds. It's Gregory coming up with speed, tried to hit that in motion and couldn't quite direct it where he wanted. Herrera to Charlie Gregory, and net front. Nolan Bongarier has to dive, gets a hand on it, but unfortunately puts it in the wrong direction, back towards his team instead of over on the third hit. So it's the Algonquins out to a pretty decent start here in this 15-point set. Here's Lex Smith to Nolan Bongarier, and right at the front of the net, there's Tyson Washington with that nice kill. He's done that a couple times tonight. Happy to do it again. See a couple Samuel de Champlain players getting ready to take the court and warm up, but still got a game here as that ball falls on the Lakers side. Chamberlain goes up for some insurance, and down 7-1 in this 15-point set. Caldwell's going to call a timeout here. And that's a smart use of his timeout, as you can't take him with you, and things were definitely starting to get out of hand. With these short sets, you can't let things get too out of hand early, because otherwise the hill is a little too steep to climb. A little more coming and going now as I think we hear some players coming back from the dressing room for the Jaguars. We remind you it's 7 p.m., or it might be a little bit later since this set went to a third. But around 7 p.m. we will have the Algonquins facing off against the Jaguars, and then around 8 the Lakers will take on the Jags. Here come the Algonquins looking to go into that matchup 1-0. Lakers looking to head into their break on a high note. If you're just tuning in, Lakers did win the first set quite decisively by a score of 25-15. Since then, though, it's been all Algonquins. Stormed out to a big lead in set 2 and never relinquished it as they won 25-13. And now they're out to a big start as well, although that service from Fenedy into the net. So Caldwell manages to ice the server, if nothing else, in terms of his timeout. Let's see what other adjustments are made. Nice service from Gregory. Chamberlain, third hit, sends it. Here's Nolan Bongarier, and McKean, decent job with his hacky sack skills keeping that alive, but unfortunately that did not touch an Algonquin player, so it will count as a fourth hit. Team switch sides now, as this does matter in the standings. It's an official third set, not just an exhibition, so we'll be as by the book as possible. So the boys take their sides. Referee Mark is just going to double check everyone's spot in the rotation. That did come into play early in the second set. Lakers thought they had scored a point to draw closer at 6-9, a 3-point deficit, but instead they had been out of rotation. The sharp-eyed Algonquins caught that, and they had to replay the point. Algonquins ended up winning, so instead of being 3 points down, Lakers were 5 points down at 5-10. And that was a bit of a momentum changer. So Lakers had started to come back there, and Hudson Mason's just got to switch over the sides. Not sure if he fully understands here what's up. I think someone might have to explain it to him. This doesn't happen too often where the teams switch sides. But Nolan Bongarier and Coach Caldwell will go give him a hand. And always a bit of confusion when this switch happens, just to make sure everyone's on the same page, including the iPad technology. But scoreboard is correct now. I think it was good for a little while. Just double checking the rotation, I guess. The Lakers seem a little unsure themselves, but it looks like we're good to go. Referee Mark will send the ball over to Obey. And here come the Algonquins. Joe Gregory with a good first pass. Here's Bongarier. Herrero looking for a space and catches Chamberlain in an extension, sending it to no one. So nice work from Marcos Herrero. And Lakers get the ball back now. Here's Michael McKean. McKean's got a strong service, but needs to calibrate that to that back line. Sends it well out of bounds. Algonquins pulling away here in this 15-point set. Service short from Washington. Lex Smith has it, and good hustle by Charlie Gregory into the stands to make that a playable ball. Hit from Josh Sim will fall out of bounds. Lakers get a bit of help from the red lines there, as there was no one in a green jersey able to make that play had it been necessary. Herrero serve into the top of the net. Lakers just can't get their serves going right now, as Will Chamberlain comes back to the line. Chamberlain, good hit. McKean over to Herrero, and Nolan Bongarier will send it. Taylor, as Michael McKean gets that to Herrero, and here's Charlie Gregory looking back row. And there's Josh Sim, catches the top of the net. Little upset with himself. And Lakers have it now as they trail by 5. Lex Smith, first serve of the night, sends it over well. And that's played high by Fenedy, and Chamberlain, not sure if he knew what he was doing on that one, and teammates kind of smiling with him. And here's Lex Smith. Would be great to see a bit of a comeback here. Again, nice hit, and this time it's the Algonquins who benefit from those red lines. That goes just out of bounds. That was a tough call. Pretty close ball. Here's Josh Sim. Jump serve from Sim, and McKean, smart play, lets that go out of bounds. Teams trading misfires as Jordan Hill's going to check back into the game. Just think we get him out for his service, as Charlie Gregory will grab a breather. And here's number 22. Put the ball up, and we'll catch the top of the net, so that's no good, and Gregory will come back. Here's Taylor now. Taylor up and over. Charlie Gregory. And Nolan Bongarier trying to scramble. Only gets one hand out. And now the Algonquins really knocking on the door. Taylor sends it. Smith to Herrero, and Michael McKean cross court. Max Obey is there. Joe Gregory at the front of the net, but he's guilty of a net touch. That's a tough break, and Isaiah Caldwell at the 11th hour, or 14th hour really, is going to call a timeout with the Algonquins at set point. Lakers would need a miracle. It's not unheard of, but We'll see what Coach Caldwell has for his team. And if you're a fan of volleyball, certainly we've got those 2 other games coming up for you, but you're going to want to tune in tomorrow night as well, or even better, come on out to the David McMullen Gymnasium. Our senior girls will be taking the court for the last time this season. These are indeed the last home games for the senior boys. Senior girls' last home game is tomorrow as they take on their vaunted rivals, the Macadam Warriors, and I believe that game could have playoff implications. Lakers currently sitting at 2nd place in the female Single A South Division. The Macadam Warriors are in 3rd. Lakers beat them 2-1 in their first meeting. But if Macadam were to win big tomorrow night, they could leapfrog the Lakers. So obviously Macadam always wants to beat Harvey and vice versa. Should be an excellent match. You're going to want to come out for that. 6 p.m. tomorrow night, Thursday, May 2nd, here in the David McMullen Gymnasium. This one's not quite done yet, though, as Lakers take the court. Here's Gentry Taylor looking to end it. Gregory Bongarrier, one-handed, keeps it alive, but McKeon at the front of the net, guilty of the net touch, so that will do it. After a big win in the first set, Lakers took their foot off the gas. Algonquins did not relinquish an inch, and they took the second 2, so the Algonquins will win this matchup 2-1 as the Lakers get ready to grab a break and probably watch the next game. The Algonquins are jumping right back in with a matchup between them and the Samuel de Champlain Jaguars, who you see taking the court in the top right corner of your screen. Before we get ready for that warm-up and that stream, we'll just do a shout-out one last time to everyone who contributed. Big thanks to our referee, Mark, down there, who's on triple duty tonight, and our minor officials, Hudson Mason and Violet McDonald, down at the Don Fletcher minor officiating booth. Thanks to coaches Claire Neufeld and Charlotte Bartlett on the Algonquin side for getting their boys ready. And for the Lakers, well, head coach Michel Poirier is not available tonight. Big thanks to him, and also to assistant coach Isaiah Caldwell for manning the bench and getting these boys ready as well. Up here in the skybox, Logan Wall has been pointing your eye in the right direction with that camera, and it's been Austin Jameson working things here at the console. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you in about 10-15 minutes for the game between the Jaguars and the Algonquins.